Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys our IBA Season 6-7 Week 4 battle against Kurt the Buzzwold's Adelaide Absols. Kurt's links will definitely be down in the description below. I don't believe he's uploading this, but regardless, I'll definitely leave his stuff down below. And if he is, go check him out and go drop a sub and all that good stuff. But yeah, very, very peculiar matchup here against Kurt. I think we have some terrifying things versus him, but he also has some things we don't deal with very well, in all honesty. So obviously matchup is going to be on your screen right there. We're going to do a quick little team builder just so you can see what we're bringing, why we're bringing it, so you have that background knowledge going into the match and all that good stuff. Though I do want to say before we start the recording and all that, start the team builder, and all that good stuff. If you are new here or if you've been watching the videos for a while and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out. Lets me know you're enjoying what I'm doing, and it is completely free. So I would really appreciate if you helped us push towards our goal of 400 by the end of the year. But let's go ahead and jump into the matchup. Our team, if you did forget, consists of Salazzle, Alolan Persian, Superior, Mega Diancie, Frogadier, Golbat, Porygon Z, Komodo, Seismitoad, Silsila, and Uniclus, while our opponent's team consists of Swellow, Azelf, Electabuzz, Zygarde, Arcanine, Suicune, Skuntank, Mega Heracross, Tapu Bulu, Registeel, and Palossand. Now, biggest starts off the bat, Azelf is very tough for us to switch into. Swellow, another very, very big issue for this team, as you saw last week versus Silver. If you guys haven't checked out that one, we got smashed by an offensive normal flying with fire coverage, and that's what Swellow is. Obviously, it's not as good as Mega Pidge, but still a big, big threat to our team in particular. Zygarde, I don't have great ground resist. My ground resist is superior, so I'm expecting that thing to potentially be a nuisance. Suicune is always scary whenever you play it, though I don't think like Subcall Mine makes sense, obviously, because we have Seismitoad. But there's definitely some options for that thing against us. Mega Heracross, I lack pretty much any switching to. Altogether, offensive fightings also give this team a tough time. And then stuff like Registeel is really annoying for our team to break, so we're going to have to play around that eventually. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the team builder. First off, we have our Silsila rocking out the Flying EMZ, Beast Boost ability, Autonomized Air Slash, Fire Blast, and Giga Drain, max HP, 4 defense, 108 special attack, 20 with depth, and 132 speed with a modest nature. This thing is going to be our main win come this game. My opponent's flying resist is in Electabuzz and a Registeel, but Registeel is honestly fodder for us. We can Fire Blast through that thing and get up to +1 pretty easy. Once we get up to +1, though, a Z Air Slash is enough to pretty much knock out anything really scary on my opponent's team. Giga Drain is just nice coverage for things like Palossand and Suicune and things like that to stay a little bit healthy. It's a bit scary that we're running this kind of Celesteela when we're going up against a Swellow. That could potentially be a big issue versus us, but we'll see how it goes. Next up, we got our Seismitoad rocking out with the Assault Vest with a Water Absorbability, Scald, Icy Wind, Sludge Bomb, and Grass Knot. 244 HP, 60 defense, 92 special attack, 4 defense, depth, and 108 speed with a modest nature. Now, this thing is here just to be a nice little blanket check to everything. Now, it's unfortunate we don't have rocks in this, but I didn't think we really needed it. And the coverage on this thing is obviously really nice. Scald for general stab, Icy Wind to slow things down. It also stops Zygarde from potentially getting out of hand like a Yachi Zygarde. It can't, DD up on us and have that speed boost, which is obviously really nice. And regardless, we 2-hit KO'd if it is not Yachi pretty easily. Sludge Bomb is to catch things like Tapu Bulu, to nab poisons on things, which is obviously really nice as well. And then Grass Knot is for the Suicune. We always break a Suicune sub, which is very important as well. Before it starts combining, but I don't think it's going to be sub combined. I think if anything, if it comes, it'll be sub toxic, because that can really be annoying for things like Superior and Seismitoad and things like that, which are pretty good answers for sub combined in all honesty. Next up, we got our Superior, Speak of the Devil. With the leftovers, contrary is its ability, Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Toxic, and Synthesis. 212 HP, 28 defense, 68 special attack, 4 super def, and 196 speed with a bold nature. Now, these things are going to be our main Zygarde check. As sad as that is, this is our best check to the thing, so we're very defensive in order to take that thing on. Though we do outspeed a majority of my opponent's team regardless, just because their team isn't the fastest thing in the world. We have Toxic just to put things on timers, which is obviously really nice. Things like the Bulu if they want to come in on us. And stuff like that, honestly. And Arcanine is also, a really big other one, because Arcanine's a big stop to our Celesteela. Potentially, it can always live a hit from full, so getting chip on that thing is always nice. And then Leaf Storm plus Dragon Pulse hits a lot of my opponent's team very, very hard. So I figured that would obviously be pretty nice. And the Synthesis to stay healthy versus said Suicune. Next up, we have our Komodo. We are rocking out with the Weakness Policy, Soundproof Disability, Cling Skills, Flamethrower, Autotomize, and Taunt. 196 HP, 172 special attack, and 140 speed with a timid nature. This is another great late game win con, provided we get some chip on some things. This thing goes crazy. It goes through sub, which is nice for Suicune if it gets chipped down a little bit, especially if it is that sub-toxic variant. we can like taunt it and then start just playing scales through it, which is dope. And other than that, we kind of just hit the entirety of my opponent's team very, very hard. Dragon plus fire coverage is great versus their team, and we can potentially autotomize Azelf on some stuff in the late game, and maybe be super effective here from something like an Azelf. We can live a psychic from full, or something like that, and then be able to do some damage, otherwise. Next up, we got Golbat, rocking out the Eviolite, Infiltrator's ability, Bravebird, Taunt, Super Fang, and Roost. 244 HP, 28 attack, 100 defense, and 140 speed with the Jolly nature. It's just a nice stall breaker. It's just a nice, overall check. It's the main pivot we have into Mega Heracross. Though obviously, 8-clicking Rock Blast is less than beneficial for us. That does a lot of damage. It doesn't kill us, which at least, kind of delays the inevitable, which is awesome. We'll be able to taunt and Super Fang some things down. We should be outspeeding any Suicune, which obviously pretty dope. And or Suicune creeping, I believe, Toad or something like that. We weren't like creeping max speed Suicune, because I don't think that's necessarily the ring versus me. Even if they do, we don't want to tie with Kamo potentially, but I don't see it personally. It's a great Bulu check as well, and its main job is here to check the Bulu and check the Mega Heracross. And then lastly, we have our Mega Diancie, rocking out the Diancie side, obviously. Magic Bounce's ability, Moonblast, Earth Power, Heal Bell, and Stealth Rock. 108 HP, 180 special attack, and then 220 speed with a modest nature. This Pokemon punches holes through my opponent's team. They do not have good steel plus ground resist. Obviously, Registeel does exist, but that thing doesn't have reliable recovery. This gives me a very reliable rocker in this matchup as it forces a lot of switch-ins. And then it gives me a potential Cleric. I had Heal Bell on there as a 4th move because I didn't really feel I needed another slot, right here. So, excuse me. I went Heal Bell just to heal off burns and toxics and things like that from this weekend, which could potentially be a big nuisance to us. But yeah, that's going to be the team. Let's jump right into the battle. Alright guys, so here we are with the battle. So I absolutely suck, and I realized when I just started recording this that I accidentally forgot to, click the record button while team preview is still up. But I can tell you my, Kurt's team really quick before we jump in. His team consisted of the Azelf, Swellow, Arcanine, Zygarde, Skuntank, and Palossand. Now, going into this match, I figured my best lead was Seismitoad. My opponent didn't have great switch-ins to just the coverage that I had, and nothing really took me on in one hit, honestly, just because of our AV. And I can, obviously take damage on the entirety of my opponent's team, obviously, with this thing. So, we are going to lead off with Big Toad, as Kurt does end up leading off with the Swellow. Now, this is completely fine, because I want to get Chip on this thing, and I want to kind of force some damage, because again, don't have great switch-ins, and I am AV, so I know I live 2 hits, as the Life Orb U-turn is going to come out, showing that it is most likely special, just Life Orb, because if it was physical, it would probably be Flame Orb, but they're going to go into the Palisade, which is great, showing me that they don't have great pivots in this thing, and after I end up getting the burn right here, it's going to show me that I actually do 2-hit KO this Palisade, which is obviously really solid for the rest of my team, and I like that I kind of got this off. This KO basically just for U-turn damage with our more offensive Assault Vest Seismitoad, which is, again, very, very solid for us. So, definitely a good start for us being able to take out this thing with the subsequent Scald. Down it goes, and we're able to kind of put on a little bit more, offensive pressure with our Toad opposed to it just being a fat, annoying wall that sits here. Out back comes the Swellow, and this is completely fine. Again, like I said, I just want damage on this thing. Plus the Life Orb chip and, a Scald and, all that good stuff. We should be doing a fair amount as the Life Orb is going to pop. We're going to click Scald right here, and then I am going to be able to bring this thing down incredibly low. And it's a range of like maybe 3 more Life Orb hits or something like that. But unfortunately, we don't get the burn. That's completely fine as a Boom Burst comes out, picks off Seismitoad. But I honestly just traded a lead Assault Vest Mon that was here for a Mon that didn't even really end up coming for, basically 2 Mons on lead, which is obviously great. So right here, I am going to go into my Celesteela, and I am going to click Autotomize. In my head, I was thinking, I think this thing lives 1 more turn of Life Orb. I can Autotomize up and then knock out the next turn. But my head mouth was off a little bit. It's unfortunately going to die to the Heat Wave, which is not the best, because now I don't get my Beast Boost, and I kind of need my Beast Boost. If I had my Beast Boost, I think I actually could have won this game, because as you're going to see, the Arcanine is going to come out right here. And again, this is fine initially, at least, because I know I can do a lot of damage to this thing with an Air Slash, but if I hit this thing with an Air Slash, a Z Air Slash, it's not going to be able to knock it out. I'm going to lose my Celesteela in the process, unfortunately. I was calculating, I had a small chance to knock it out, depending on his spread and, what he was. Maybe if he's more offensive, I could knock him out. Though, and I also kind of saw myself not really getting an opportunity to set up again, unfortunately, with Big Sealy here. So we are going to Supersonic Sky Strike it up right on top of this Arcanine's forehead. However, it is not going to be enough to knock this thing out. And if I did get +1, I obviously would have gotten it from there. So, unfortunately, Celesteal is going to go down. That was a great win con down, but we still definitely have plenty of outs in the back, as the Arcanine is going to go down as well. And Kurt's only left with 3 mons at this point. I still have 4 mines. I still have some really, really healthy mons chilling in the back as well, as does he. As he's going to go into the Azelf here. And I'm going to go into my Superior, and in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I'm fine, I should be in a decent spot. However, me going Toxic over Glare was probably a really bad bring, in my opinion. In hindsight, I don't think it was a great bring, because as you're going to see, this Azelf is a big problem. It outspeeds the entirety of my team, and I have no way of controlling the speed against it. And unfortunately, especially because the Serp is very, very, bulky this week, fortunately, I'm not going to be able to knock this thing out. What it's going to do is it's going to allow this thing to set up a Nasty Plot in my face. And if you look at the rest of my team, and you look at Nasty Plot Azelf, there's not much I can do about it. However, if I was Glare right here, I could have glared into Leaf Storm, obviously, and been in a much better position. I wouldn't have even had to worry about this thing, and I honestly think I would have just won the game. I wouldn't have been too nervous. Unfortunately, though, a Fire Blast is going to come out here. He is going to connect, and that's going to blow our Superior backwards. There's no way we're living that hit, unfortunately. And from here, we're just kind of in a tough spot. I can go into my Mega DNC. Unfortunately, it is a first turn Mega, because that's the rule, unfortunately. If it wasn't first turn Mega, I could have stayed unmegged and lived the hit, thrown off a Moose Blast, and knocked this thing out. However, I kind of had to hope that he was Psyshock. Psyshock was roll heavily in my favor to live, but he does turn out to be Psychic, and I would have needed like a min roll to live this. Unfortunately, we're not going to, and this is going to put us kind of in a very, very tough predicament, as we don't really deal with this Pokemon right now. I'm going to go into my Komodo, last ditch effort, but he's going to reveal the Dazzling Gleam. I think +2 Psychic also knocked us out. Maybe he was just scared we were Pyop or something like that. And he knows probably through his Jelly. I probably died of that hit anyways. But yeah, down goes our Komodo, and last comes out our Golbat. Unfortunately, we're going to just get clean swept by this Azelf. Very offensive game. It was a fun one, and, despite me kind of getting blowed ass backwards there in the end of the game, it was a fun one. It was definitely a more offensive game, and he just positioned himself better in the end game, and I think I really threw in building and not bringing anything to, 1, outspeed the Azelf, and 2, bringing Toxic over Glare. I don't think that Toxic was better than Glare in like 90% of situations versus this team. I didn't really have to worry about Toxicing the Arcanine. I had a lot of things that forced a lot of damage on it. I didn't really have to worry about Toxicing the Zygarde. I had Storm plus Dragon Pulse, and the same thing for pretty much everything. I can't even Toxic the Skuntank, which is probably the best switch in on his team. So it definitely was very questionable prep by me. The second week in a row, we kind of rushed our team, and we brought a really questionable build. And next week, I'm really hoping to tighten that up. Spoilers, I've already built for that game at this point, and I do think that it's much, much better of a build, and I'm hoping we tighten this up. We started off 2-0, we got a little lax, and we got our ass kicked a couple times, unfortunately, so hopefully we can bounce back and do well next week. GG's to Kurt, definitely go check him out in the description below. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, be sure to drop a sub, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.